Hey, this is Chael Sonnen, and you are listening to the one and only Word on the Street podcast. I just woke up, so sorry. This is the Word on the Street podcast, May 1st, 2016. Our guest is none other than, he's just coming off of a win, a spectacular win at King of the Cage, 22nd win, which we'll get into in just one moment. His name is Bryce Harley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And of course, as always, we have co-producer, co-host, co-creator, co-promoter, everything. My coach, Jamie, the living legend, Huey. Coach Huey, how are you doing?
Absolutely outstanding, fellas. Good to be on this podcast with such fine gentlemen as yourself.
Excellent. And we'll get right into it. Yeah, Bryce, we'll get right into it, man. How are you feeling, man? You knocked somebody out at King of the Cage in I believe it started off as 30 seconds, but the official timing is 26.
26 seconds, yeah. Like it was crazy night. I fucking hit him with a fucking kitchen sink and everything I had, and put him up on the cage. And we, during fight camp, Jamie and me, we were watching tons of video of him, and we kept on calling him the turtle because when he goes defensive, he just goes 100% defensive, goes in the shell. So we knew that once you put the turtle in the shell, break the shell, and
he's a quitter.
That's what happened.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we definitely broke him.
Well, I tried, and trust me, I'm really good at doing my homework. I tried as hard as I could to find the footage and also anything I could on you. Like, usually I set a private investigator up on this shit, like just tailing your ass all week, just find out everything there is to know and use against you. But I didn't have that much lead time. And you are, I believe, well, that would have been your 9th or 10th fight last night.
9th fight.
Okay. So now you do have a winning record. You are a winning fighter. I don't even know if you've even processed that yet.
Yeah, no, I definitely have, being up at 25 and having people coming down from bantamweight and stuff like that, win some, lose some. But at 115, I don't care if you're pro, I don't care if you're amateur. I think you're all too late. That's where I don't lose is at straw weight. So now that we got it,
yeah, that is one thing.
It's a whole different thing.
I did see on the specs I could pull up that you weighed in at 120. Your opponent, he weighed in at 125. So
that'd be one. No, we were 15.
115? Okay. So
yeah,
this website's lying to me.
I weighed at 15, yeah.
It's lying to me. But yeah, it was Kevin Burke. And it took only 26 seconds for you to put that guy down. Of course, this was hours ago. I've got to know what it feels like because I've never actually officially won a fight, if you know what I'm saying. But what does it mean when you like to you? How does it feel, man? Like it was hours ago. How does it feel knowing you whooped some dude's ass in less than 30 seconds?
Shit, it feels great. It's gratifying. Because it's something that I've always had these talents. It's just when you can actually put these talents into play and utilize all your skills. So I'm just more so happy that I was able to display what I know that I can do. It was like, in the words of Nick Diaz, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers,
Yeah. And how do you know, actually I'll direct this one to Coach Huey and, well, both of you, whoever has the best answer. How do you guys know each other? How do you guys hook up, like, at Xtreme? I'm guessing. I saw on your Twitter, Bryce, that, again, this is Bryce Harley, Bryce Wutang Harley. I'll ask you about that a little bit later. But how did you guys hook up? It says on your Twitter, Bryce, that you drove across the country basically to train at Xtreme Couture. So I'm guessing that's where the connection happened. But what's the story? Like, what made you pair up with Coach Huey? And again, either of you can take this one.
I'll let
Do
you
you want
feel
this one,
this
Coach,
one.
or do you want me? Or
No,
yeah,
no, that's
okay.
all you, brother.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Well, yeah, nah, we linked up at Extreme Couture. This was right before he was going out to Brazil for the Ultimate Fighter. And, I really liked his style and everything like that, but we had only had a short time before Brazil. And then after Brazil, he was full-time at the gym, and, me and him just clicked, and shit, we we got some good stuff going. I don't know, where else to go
Obviously.
from there, but I mean, we just got good chemistry, and it just really works well.
So where are you from originally? I know you moved to Vegas then, but
I'm from a small town in between DC and Baltimore, like right in between them, Columbia, Maryland. And I was training out there. I wasn't doing MMA. I was just, after I had finished wrestling in college, I was just like, trying to look for something else. I kind of got burnt out on that, knowing that,
mhm.
double legs can't, pay the bills or anything. So I started doing jujitsu and coming out to Las Vegas to train at some of these super gyms. And after spending a month out here just training, I was like, oh man, this is fight capital of the world. This is where I need to be. So saved up for like a whole summer, packed my life into a 98 Buick and just said, fuck it, and drove across the country. And, 4 and some change years later, here I am.
Yeah, the 98 Buick beats Huey's ride, maybe, possibly. I'd like to see you guys drag race. We were talking cars right before we called you, man. Um,
Well, I've upgraded since the '98 Buick. She didn't last too long after the
oh
the
yeah.
haul across the country. Yeah.
Well, then the coaches got you beat on maintenance at least. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
I know,
definitely.
you, I know he works on it all the time. I suspect. I
So
don't
I've got
know.
a
I think he's just hanging
motorcycle
out
in my
underneath the
garage. I
car.
don't.
Yeah.
I got a motorcycle in my garage. I don't know how to ride.
Don't ride it like we talked about, man. Don't ride
You
it.
know, you're the second guy to tell me that. When Chael won his Harley on the Ultimate Fighter season 17,
It was
he
on
did the
eBay the
same
next
thing.
day.
He I don't know if he knew how to really shift in it. So he told me he'd take this thing, he'd take this Harley. There was a little dirt kind of a trail that he'd take a shortcut from his house to get to the Starbucks. And he'd tell me every Sunday him and Brittany would get on this thing and they'd take this little brand new fucking Harley on this dirt trail over
He'd
to the
take the
Starbucks to get their
chance.
coffees. I
He'd
don't
take
even
the
know if he
chance with his
shifted it
wife.
out of second gear. And then he ended up selling it. And then when I got my bike, I kind of traded some stuff. He actually told me that. And he goes, dude, don't just sell it. Just don't even get on it. Don't ride it. Just sell it. I go, why? He goes, well, I fell off of mine 3 times in one day. And I
Mm-hmm.
go, really? And he goes, yeah, I
Oh.
was on my way to Starbucks and we fell off on the dirt trail. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what? Wasn't even on the street. He was
Like I was,
riding it on a dirt trail to Starbucks.
what the hell? How are there even dirt trails to Starbucks? Like they're building
I
them
don't
out in
know.
the fucking
He's in
desert
West
now?
Lynn, Oregon, man. You got to avoid the alleys because they got guys in there with guns. So you take the dirt trails, man.
Broken bottles.
I live in Texas, by the way. I am the guy with the gun. But Bryce, man, um, I've got to know since I couldn't pull the footage up because it happened hours ago. Your win over Kevin Burke. He seems to be like a much bigger guy with more fight experience, almost double yours. Um, Heavier guy. You took him out in 26 seconds. Sorry, I almost disrespected you. But
No
it,
worries, no worries.
like,
Keep going.
if you could give the play-by-play, since I can't find the footage, it's not up yet. It will be. This is the
Yeah.
age of the internet. Like, it'll be on YouTube. Like, this guy TKO'd. The, the, I don't want to
This other
disrespect
guy.
Mr. Burke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm he was just taller than me. He's actually not really bigger than me. I was actually I guess had more muscle or something. I mean, whatever you want to, the bigger man or the shorter man. Fucking he was like a beanpole. So he was, he had a little bit of length, but I just knew as soon as I got in there, it just took over. I was just shooting that lead 5 all day. That's Jamie Huey right there. That shovel hook to the body, and I was just
Which
once
side?
he went
Like
in.
break it down for like people that like don't know a damn thing about fighting.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, I mean, I'm a southpaw, so right leg lead,
Me
and
too.
so as soon as I think we kind of met out in the middle of the cage, hit him with a couple
You get
strikes
that
that
liver.
pushed him. Yeah, exactly. Pushed him against the cage, and then from there, I just started ripping these shovel hooks to the body off my lead leg. Probably, I think it was like some 5 unanswered shots, and then he tried to throw a knee in response, but it just nothing really had too much strength on it at that point. We got into a little bit of a exchange with the punches, and shit, one of us had to drop at that point. I had better head movement. My strikes are a little bit more accurate. I was throwing some hooks, throwing some overhands, some straights, uppercuts. I was, like I said, the fucking kitchen sink, whatever I could. Then he dropped, and as soon as he dropped, I was just fucking jumped on him and started mauling him with just little hammer fist or rabbit, whatever I could do. I was just
Just to get
raining
the ref
on.
to, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that this kid's frozen right now. He just dropped from the shots. This is the time to put it away. We don't rest, or else we're just going to have to do more work, later to put him away.
Now,
So.
so it was a short fight. Like, do you remember everything in like exact detail, or is it just kind of a blur? Like, do you remember what dropped him? Which one, like, shot actually put him
Uh,
down?
Now that I can't even say because it was just such a wild exchange at that point. Because that's when he started firing back at me too. So, I was concerned about keeping my head movement good and everything. So I want
Was it
to,
body or
man, yeah, no, I
head?
can't even say. I I can't even say on that one. I know the body is what really started hurting him, just because I love ripping the body shots. I'm always
Yep.
on the heavy bag, so I mean that definitely was probably where most of the damage came from, was the body shots.
That's the biggest advantage of being a southpaw. Like, your
Hmm.
instinct is to hit that liver, and or like they don't see that coming to their jaw. Like,
Hmm.
are
I mean,
you
he
are
also just thought I was only a wrestler too, so he didn't know I had Jamie Huey in my corner,
hell
so he
yeah,
kind of fucked up
man.
there.
Coach, he's giving you props, man.
I appreciate that, man. Bryce just went out there and, I mean, really, part of it as a coach is just really getting these guys to be to trust their offense, really, and that was part of it with Bryce was not getting so caught up in one thing, but being able to blend everything because Bryce is a very decorated, solid wrestler. He's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, his ground is amazing. He's in there with guys like, I mean, he's a 115-pound fighter. He's in there with guys that are a lot bigger than him. But Bryce knows how to, with his wrestling, how to explode out of things, and with his jiu-jitsu, sink in chokes and whatnot. But, getting people, part of your job as a coach is just getting them to trust their offense. And Bryce was, he already had tools. It was just a matter of just, building it up and following the plan. And he went out there, man, and he went to the body. And I tell these guys all the time, the two, as far as a coach, a striking coach, the two most underutilized things in MMA, in my personal opinion, are body shots and elbows. And obviously you
mhm.
can't throw elbows in amateurs, but you can rip those body shots. So you put a hole in a guy's gas tank, and his car's going to break down on the freeway. And that was part of the plan with this guy is we knew if we went out there, we put enough offense on this guy, he was going to go into defense mode, and we were going to keep him there until he quit or the ref stopped the fight. And I had a kind of a conversation with our friend Jeff Meyer over at Tough Enough, and before the fight, I told Bryce this before, but not quite when I made this arrangement. But I asked Jeff. I said, Jeff, if we go out there and we're going to go out there and we're going to put on a show, and our motivation for this is we want to make a statement because we want an opportunity to fight for the 115-pound Tough Enough title. And Jeff said, hey, I'll be there. I'll be rooting for Bryce, and we can talk about it. And so we went out there and we put on a performance, man. I mean, Bryce went out and he put his shots together, and it was about as exciting as it could have been. So obviously that's really where we're headed, is keeping Bryce busy in that 115-pound division. But I mean, I'm proud of him. He as a coach, what can you ask for? You got a guy that spends 5-6 hours in the gym working his tail off, and he goes out there and he's got me and Dennis Davis in the corner, man, and we're 100% behind the kid. So I think the sky's the limit, and this is only the beginning of some good things that are down the road for us.
Yep. Body and elbow. That's totally correct. And that's actually what I do. Like, since I'm in like physical therapy. I had like a hip replacement, so like my boxing is very limited, but I can throw those elbows and like hit, and that's generally my target areas. I do think it's like the film The Matrix. Morpheus says the body cannot live without the mind. Well, in MMA, it's like probably the opposite. The mind can't live without the body. Coach, so you were actually there.
Yeah, me and Dennis Davis
Okay, well,
in his corner.
give me the non-modest play-by-play, because I know Bryce doesn't want to just brag. What did you see from your perspective?
The first thing that me and Dennis had both noticed was back in the dressing room was, and Dennis actually, I said it when I was holding mitts. I go, damn, bro, you're hitting a lot harder than you normally do. I hold mitts for Bryce all the time, but he was really letting his hands go. And Dennis made that same comment to me. He goes, Bryce was banging back there. I've never felt him hitting like that. And I kind of looked at Dennis. I go, I know, right? I go, I thought the same thing. So I knew that he was in. I knew that he was in. He was focused. He wanted to go out there and he wanted to let everybody know that this was his weight class, and there was nobody out there that could challenge him for that. He goes out there, the bell rings, he jumps on this kid, he starts letting his hands go, backs the kid up into the corner. There was one point where I think, like Bryce said, the kid threw a knee and he tried to throw a couple shots, but Bryce's offense was so busy, the kid really had no other answer than to kind of just shell up, and Bryce dropped a couple of them hard body shots on him, and I can't remember what he caught him with specifically because, like I said, it was such an aggressive flurry of punches. Kid dropped, Bryce jumped down, took position, and just started ground and pound, and obviously the rest had no other option than to break it up. And I mean, credit to the kid. I mean, he came all the way over here from Davenport, Iowa, took the fight. We saw some of his other fights on YouTube. He's a scrappy kid, him and his brother. But like I said, in 115 pounds, you can fly him in from anywhere you want to fly him in from. Bryce will get in there with the best of them, and I'm confident that he'll be fighting at one of the big shows one of these days. So we've got some things we still want to continue to work on. Bryce is very coachable, sometimes to the point where you almost have to tell him to scale it back a little bit. Maybe there's some other specific things to focus on instead of some of the other things that he's doing, because you kind of got to balance out maybe some conditioning with some wrestling, with some groundwork, and he's coachable, man. Me and Dennis are proud of him. He went out there and he performed like he was supposed to.
Yeah, for the record, the King of the Cage website lists it as a 120 versus 125 pound fight. So it's actually 115. So I have to ask you, Bryce, obviously the UFC doesn't have that weight class. What is your plan, if any, to get into the UFC? Like, are you gonna wait around for the weight class, or are you gonna start pounding those cheeseburgers and hitting the gimmick? Like, what's up?
Nah, I think I'm maximized, at least my frame right now. I mean, obviously I can always get bigger, but you know, what do you really want to focus on? Do you want to focus on your skills and all that, or do you want to start powerlifting and then maybe your body type changes and maybe that makes certain adjustments that you're not aware of or something, and just how you fight or how you move.
Mhm.
Right now, I know that I'm effective at the weight class that I am right now, and at the size I am, and I make 15 comfortably. And I think if it ain't broken, then don't fix it. They'll just I'll make enough waves, I'll make enough noise that shit they'll just have to open
They'll
it.
have to open it up. Yep. And I
Yeah.
apologize for the barking dogs. Apparently, the compound isn't quite as secure as I thought it was. This is ridiculous. But no. So now you're a fighter with a winning record. Do you want to go back to Tough Enough for right now, or what's the plan?
Whoever's ready as soon as possible. That's what it comes down to. Uh, I love Jeff Meyer and Tough Enough. I really appreciate and loved working with Mike Camp out of King of the Cage. But if someone's ready next month, then whoever's ready first, whoever's willing to fly these people out here. I've heard enough promoters show excitement and interest in the 115 division, and now it's just time for them to deliver. So whoever
Hmm.
can provide the matchups, then that's where we're fighting next.
And I gotta ask about your fighter name, Wutang. What's up?
Yeah. Well, that came from just back in the day at jiu-jitsu. I guess long story short, being black and Japanese, so someone I knew, they're like, "Wait a second, have you ever seen that one episode of the Chappelle Show?" And I was like, "Huh?" And they're like, the racial draft with Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, Wu-Tang, and that's that's
What?
kind of where it started. And just, I mean,
Okay.
back in Maryland, some people I trained with, they didn't know my real name. They'd be like, "Oh, Bryce, Bryce," and they're like, "Who?" And they're like, Wu-Tang, and they're like, "Why didn't you just say Wu-Tang from the start?"
Oh no. All
So
right.
then,
I
yeah.
can read between the lines. There was a little green mystique about. Yeah, man. But no, that's totally cool. The Bryce Wutang Harley people. And I am going to, after as soon as this recording is done, I'm gonna hop the fence and strangle that dog. But of course, this is all hypothetical.
Yeah, and so that Pete is not knocking on your door.
Yeah. There,
We don't hear a dog, Ramses. So you're
oh,
not doing
really?
a Son of Sam on us or something, are you?
Yeah, exactly. I don't hear anything.
Oh, good, because yeah,
Before
I do
go
have
ahead.
a directional microphone, so you should not be able to hear it. But in case it's
Okay.
coming through,
Yeah,
like
before you decide this dog is giving you any
Yeah, go.
information that maybe,
it's
yeah, before you take any
Cold yeller.
instruction, give me a call and let's talk about this first.
it's actually two dogs fighting. There's a beef going
Wow.
down right now. Like I'll probably watch the fight, uh, but but while the bathtub is filling up, if you know what I'm saying. But, so Bryce, you're at 115. You are now a winning fighter. Like, how many hours ago was this fight?
Oh shit! Now I gotta look at my phone and see what time it is.
Yeah,
I not too long ago. I mean, I guess it was
like 12 hours?
no, more
14?
than that. I mean, it was. I think we walked in at like 9:15. That's when we were walking out. I remember that
Yeah,
specifically, just looking at the clock.
Okay.
And now here in
20
Vegas
hours.
it's 5:30 or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Wow.
so
Wow. And
pretty recent.
did you take any damage whatsoever?
No, I mean honestly, my head movement was good. I mean, he had a I mean, I guess he had a glancing blow on just like because I just know there's like a little bump on my forehead. Um, but I mean, past that, I didn't take, you know, I don't consider it damage. I mean, I probably take more damage in, you know, just in the gym and in sparring, you know, so I don't really consider this damage.
Is this your fastest win ever?
I think, yeah, just by a little bit. I had fought for this one organization, Las Vegas MMA, where I can't remember the time of it, but I think it was like 40 seconds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was with a
Oh,
submission, but yeah, I think this one's the quickest.
oh, nice. So you're switching it
Hmm.
up.
Yeah, I mean, this was my first TKO, or like anything along the lines of striking finish. Before, it's just, you know, when I do finish people, it's always by submissions. You know, I'm kind of a submission guy or grappling guy, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, that wrestling background, definitely.
Hmm.
So now, like, have you, I know it's only been 20 hours, but are you starting to have like more, I guess the word is belief in yourself? Like, will this impact you like to the point to where like you're gonna feel stronger going forward? Or I mean, I know you guys, I'm guessing you haven't even seen the replay yet. Um, but
Yeah, I
how
haven't
do,
really seen too much. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I just want to know what winning feels like, man. Like and
I mean,
what
it
walking
feels.
out feels like coming off of a few losses. Like it must have been all or nothing, right?
I mean, for me, like, you know, you were saying, like, does it build your confidence? I mean, I've always believed in myself. You know, I'm an ultra confident person. So, but at no point in time, win or lose, does that ever change my perspective of myself and where I'm going? Maybe sometimes, you know, obviously a win or a loss will change the perspective of the people around you, or you know, just the people that are, you know, viewing or commenting on your life. But to me, there's never any doubt. You know, changes literally nothing, you know. Even the losses, they change nothing. I mean, maybe you have to take some time off, you know, and you know, recover, you know, or something. But it really changes nothing. I mean, now I know that I was able to show everything that I had in me that I knew that I had. It just feels good to be able to show that to everybody else. At 115, it's, you know, it's a different story. I mean, some of these other fights, you know, these guys are big motherfuckers. You know, they hit you hard. They'll knock you
Hmm.
stupid. Uh, but even the people I've lost to, I don't think all of them have gone on to do like pretty great things. One of them, he actually just fought in a title fight. Actually, didn't win the title, but you know, fought in a title for Tough Enough. That was my last fight, Bronson. And then, I mean, even the guy who I fought in my second fight, Shy Lindsay, I think he went on like a 4-fight amateur win streak, and then went on a 5-fight win streak as a pro, and then, you know, dropped one. So
Hmm.
a lot of these people, you know, I don't lose to scrubs, you know. So even when it does happen, you know, how pissed are you going to be saying that, you know, fuck, I lost to a gamer, you know? We're all fucking gamers, and sometimes it doesn't go your way, but
Do
like
people,
everybody's a beast, you know.
when you decide to become a mixed martial artist and fight for money, locked up in a cage, do people like, do people think you're crazy?
Some people, I mean, it's funny, like, yeah, you know, just being in Vegas, you talk to people and everything like that, and you know, some people they're like, so what do you do? You know, what are you here for? You know, and some, you know, when I first came here, I would just say, oh, I'm a martial artist. I didn't really specifically say, and some of them like, oh, good thing you don't do that cage fighting bullshit. Like it's just like cockfighting, and I'm just like, oh fuck. Okay, well, I guess our conversation stops there.
Do you
But yeah.
do you do you feel crazy though? Because like to me it makes total sense. Like I have this body, I have these skills. Like I know what I'm capable of. I'm willing to take the hits. Like, it, it, how do you feel about the choice you've made?
I mean, I've been doing combat sports for, you know, the better majority of my life, so it only feels natural. It feels where like everything just happened organically in my life that just brought me to this point. I mean, there's, you know, the day before you're about to, you know, fight someone, you're like, shit, so fuck, I guess I gotta go get in this cage and fight this guy that's trying to give me brain damage. I'm just, it is
Hmm.
kind of a wild thought, just thinking like, okay, well, in a couple hours I'm gonna try to, beat someone's fucking face in. So it's kind of it's just an interesting thought. To me, it's not crazy because it's where I feel that I should be. And like I said, it just kind of happened organically in my life that I just had been doing all these sports for so long, and then this mixed martial arts thing comes about, and it's like, oh shit, you can make money doing it, So it was kind of time to hang up the wrestling shoes and get into that stuff.
Yeah. And coach, uh, this guy, do you just get paired up with them, assigned to fighters, or do you pick them? How does it work at Extreme Couture?
Well, there's an old saying, fighters find their coaches, um, and it's kind of one of those. It's just kind of one of those weird things that happen. It works or it doesn't, and there's certain guys that, I just don't click with, and it's not me and it's not them. It's just, there's certain things that fighters need, and you have it or you don't as a coach. And I think we're really in a great position at Extreme Couture because the coaching staff that we have down there, we're all similar, but we're all different. Robert is amazing coach. Dennis Davis, Eric Nixick, Joel is amazing coach. I mean, we've got Chad, and I mean, I'm going to leave some guys off, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
But
No.
we have an amazing crew of coaches down there with different skill sets, but some of it isn't necessarily always got to be technical. Some of it is just, me and Bryce had a conversation one time. I never forgot, and he told me, he says, coach, sometimes he goes, I just need to know that I have somebody that believes in me. And one of the things that I like to do as a coach is I'm more interested in how a fighter thinks than how he fights initially. And there's certain guys that show certain things, and I can pinpoint, and I can say, you know what, there's something here, and there's definitely something that we can work with. And then there's other guys that, they maybe they need something completely different. And with Bryce, he was a guy that had a great skill set and amazing work ethic. But there were some things we had a conversation about that, hey, you know what, we need to make a couple of adjustments. And we need to get back on track, I think, was kind of the verbiage that we kind of used. We need to get back on track, on the same page, thinking about blending our skills. And we didn't really go into this fight with a game plan. It was more of, we were going to move our hands, move our head, move our feet. We were going to keep our back off the cage and off the mat. And our game plan was we were going to make adjustments. And we were going to take what he gives us. And we weren't going to go out there with any specific thing. We were going to go out there with the ability to evolve offensively and defensively. And with Bryce, it's just one of those things, kind of going full circle to answer the question, was there was just kind of a partnership between me and this guy, and it just works. And, I kind of keep a small team. I've got a few guys I like to work with, and sometimes I think, it'd be nice to have a bigger group of guys I work with, but, you can't put too much into, 30 different, me and Bryce had a funny conversation about that one time. But you know where I'm going with that. But, you can't put too much into too many
Wait,
things.
hang on. I gotta ask. All
Well,
right, I'm sorry. Whatever you can reveal. Um, what?
Well,
Okay, all right. If it's you can plead the Fifth Amendment always on this show.
Really, the gist of that is really just, if I got a couple really solid guys that I work with,
Hmm.
I mean, it's hard. I got a full-time job and a baby and family and all the other things that we all, deal with in life. So when you've got a few guys you can put 100% in, it's better than having 25 guys. But then there's guys that can balance that. I mean, you look at Coach Dennis Davis. He's got our amateur record down at Xtreme Couture is 20 wins and 1 loss this year.
Damn.
I mean, yeah. And Dennis being the head coach of the amateur team down there, he's doing an amazing job, man. I mean, 20 wins and 1 loss.
And that's the shit that should be reported.
That's not by mistake. You flip a quarter 100 times and find out what your odds are going to be. That's not by accident.
Yeah, and like the MMA media doesn't cover that. They're too busy just streaming like John Jones's like mugshot. It's bullshit.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I had dinner with a couple guys. Actually Brian was with me, Front Row Brian, and a couple guys that run some of those sites, and we were sitting back having Coors Light, of course.
Of course, because Bud Light ain't paying me nothing.
And one of the guys told me, we were talking about it, and we were talking about content for those sites, and he says, nowadays it's just bait and click. He goes, I don't even run it or own it anymore. He goes, I sold it, and it's just bait and click stuff now. It's just some corporation bought it, and they're just trying to get you to click on it, because they obviously get revenue from ads and whatnot. But
yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of but you're right. There's so many good stories out there that aren't getting told, unfortunately.
Yeah, Bryce was gonna say something, but I was just wondering, after you whooped this guy's ass in 26 seconds, did you go for like the kind of bait and click? Like, did you even get a post-fight speech? If so, what did you drop, if anything? Just a thank you, or?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, not even to damper it, but like, I've just been thinking about my mom a lot recently. She's actually pretty sick and kind of in and out of the hospital. And so,
I'm sorry, man.
as soon as they gave me the mic, it's unfortunate. She's tough though. So, I'm definitely thinking that she's going to pull through. But, that was the first thing on my mind was, just giving her a shout out, showing her some love and letting her know that at all times I'm always thinking about her.
You know what? That's actually exceptional. Like, instead of trying to further your own career and demand this organization or that, like, you're just thinking about your mom. That speaks to your character. And the coach was saying beforehand, when you guys were, just doing mitt work, that you were hitting harder than you usually do. Care to explain that? Why do you think that is? Are you always holding back in practice? Because, like, you don't want to send the coach home with broken wrist.
No, I mean, well, I do train a ton. So, sometimes by the end of the night, I am just a little bit more tired, when you're doing 2 days, Monday through Friday, and you're training on Saturdays too. It just kind of, it does add up. You're doing strength and conditioning. And by the time you're hitting the pads, you're like, fuck, like my shoulders are burnt. But, I had a chip on my shoulder, I definitely had something that I wanted to prove, that I knew what was inside me, and I had to show. And I had talked to my mom, I had apologized to her. I was like, I don't want you ever having to see, me getting beat or anything, it's just, I'm her youngest, I'm her baby, her only boy. And I move away, and, when she sees these fights, when you're not doing so hot in a fight or something like that, or even if you are winning the fight and, you get hit or something, she's just across the country, just, seeing her son fighting in a cage. And, as a mother, you want to jump in there and, hit him with a drop kick or some shit. But
steel chair WWE style.
Yeah, she'll hit the
it's been done before.
Frog splash off the top of the cage. But
I've seen amateur videos end like that. Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I've just seen actual like relatives step into amateur fights before. Like, there's YouTube video of it. It's always ridiculous. Like, they always trip over something. But of course, this was the one fight that she should have tuned in on. I'm assuming she did not watch. Is that correct?
Yeah, she just prefers to have me call her up afterwards and tell her that,
Tell her you're
that I won,
okay.
and then yeah, that's really what she's into now. She doesn't really prefer to watch them too much.
Okay, well, when this drops on YouTube, probably later today, you're definitely gonna send her that link, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, she's already seen my face, so she's like, okay, no bruises, no cuts. Okay, she's like, okay, I'm ready to watch it.
Yep, I'm definitely gonna as soon as it drops. Like I run an operation here. Like I will know the second it is on the internet. Um, so I'll throw that out there on Twitter first. And actually, let's if there's anything else you want to get out, anything else you want to say, any shout outs or whatever, now's the time. We'll wrap it up. I thank you so much for your time, you and Coach. Um, Pleasure having you on the Word and Street podcast. You will be back because you're
Yeah,
gonna keep
definitely.
winning.
It's oh hell yeah, shit. This is fucking the tip of the iceberg. Shit. Wait till you see the 90% that's under the water. But
Yep.
yeah, shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Dennis Davis, all my coaches, Robert Follis, Rich Castro, Kyle Griffin. Uh, I'm always trying to think of Eric Nixick, and then even one of my sponsors, Intrinsic Technologies Group, my roommates, family, friends, fans, everybody that came out to support. Uh,
Where can they find you on Twitter?
Bryce Harley on Twitter and Bryce Harley on Instagram, Bryce Harley on Facebook.
It's Bryce
Yeah,
with
I
a
think it's the
Y.
same for everything. Yeah, Bryce with a Y. And yeah, I think that's it.
Last
I can't even think of
question.
anything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm
yeah, I know. It's like uh, I just woke up a couple hours ago. I'm that kind of person. But the last question. Let's say you had to go up to 125 and fight the UFC champion Mighty Mouse. How do you think you would do realistically?
Realistically, right now,
Yeah,
he'd
you can be
probably smoke
honest.
my ass. He'd probably, I mean,
He'd roll you
if
up into a
we,
joint.
yeah, he'd roll me up and like a fucking joint
He'd
and
pass you
smoke
around.
the shit out of me. But if it was just a jujitsu match, shit,
Oh shit. Yeah.
you know, all I gotta say is
Now you got me thinking.
shit,
Yeah, 'cause you don't
my
see that too
jujitsu game's
much.
pretty fucking tight. So
Nice. Nice,
yeah.
nice. Training on that 10th planet, man. I highly
Fuck that 10th
recommend it.
planet. I will not fuck that 10th planet, but we got something better at Xtreme Couture, I mean, shit, I'll catch your leg and fucking rip it off, but
Staying
that's
true.
for when I go pro. Right now I can't use my best submissions, but pretty shortly they're going to find out where my best submissions are.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, they will. And like I said, at Bryce Harley, that's Bryce Harley, like Harley Davidson, at Bryce
Yep.
Harley on Twitter, people. Look him up um, as soon as the clip drops on YouTube. I'll pump that out. I'm sure well, I recommend that you should too. Coach Jamie, Huey, whatever. Everyone needs to see this. I mean, who doesn't have 30 seconds out of their damn life to see someone's ass get whooped? Like, I'm, I don't know you, but I'm proud of you, man. And,
Thank you.
yeah, and just walking out there is a victory in and of itself. And just putting it down after coming off of what you've come off of, like, respect, definitely. And I hope
Thank you.
everything goes well with your mother, man.
Thank you. She's tough, so I mean, I'll be home in 2 weeks. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope for it too, man. So, actually, let's not end on a sad note. Let's not. Let's not. What did both of you guys think of the Batman versus Superman movie? I was supposed to have another podcast lined up today where I interviewed this fool from YouTube who just trashed the movie. Like, and he almost like agreed with like some of my points, and I agreed with some of his points. So it would end it in a draw, but he never got back to me. Um, Jody's Corner on YouTube. But yeah, it was just gonna be some ridiculous just debate about a stupid movie. I was wondering if either of you have seen it and what'd you think?
I don't really go to the
I
movies too often, so yeah, I haven't seen it. But
What about Creed?
shit, I didn't see that one either.
Holy shit! What about Southpaw?
I did
I
see
saw.
Southpaw.
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I didn't see the Superman Batman. I did see Creed. I gotta say I enjoyed it, but I thought the actual one before that, Rocky Balboa, was a little bit better. Um,
Oh my God, nothing will ever top that. It's one of my favorite
yeah,
movies.
the first two Rockies and then the Rocky one, or I'm sorry, the first two Rockies and then Rocky Balboa were I think my favorites. The last one was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't know. There were some pieces missing, I think, but overall, I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Tommy Morrison one. So
I love
Yeah,
that
Tommy
one,
Gun.
man. I love that one. I go Rocky 3, and well, actually, from number one is Rocky Balboa, definitely. Like that's one of the best films ever put laid down. And then I go Rocky 3, and then from there it doesn't matter 2, 1. Actually in 5, this is ridiculous, guys, I know, but in 5. I think it's a little underrated because Stallone actually, in between like the cheesy like hip hop soundtrack in the background and like
yeah,
stupid bullshit, and the fact that Rocky doesn't fight until the end, um, it's really great. He drops some really good like speeches, and that street fight at the end, it like shows like who Rocky originally was before he started boxing. He was
yeah.
a street fighter. He uses
How
MMA
did he go from a
moves.
neighborhood guy, right, in the first two, to a pretty upscale, living in a neighborhood, had his stuff together. And then he gets brain damage, and then somehow he ungets brain damage, opens a business. And all
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Well,
I had a little trouble following some of that, but the
well,
thing about Rocky movies is even the bad ones are still pretty good, right?
the
Yeah,
explanation is
exactly.
that like the doctors were wrong at the end of the Ivan Drago fight. Like since we know little about brain science, like medically, which is true, we don't know everything about it and what the brain is capable of healing after you've taken damage, after you've been punchy. We just know that, you get knocked out a lot, you're gonna become punchy. That's a fact. Um, but obviously Rocky wasn't knocked out that much in the movies that we saw, so that was the
Yeah.
explanation for it. And it's really stupid, but yeah, and then he loses money because Polly makes a bad investment, and he gets robbed,
Yeah.
like
Now,
what
whose
happened
idea
in
was it to leave
2008.
Polly with the investing?
I know.
That's my next question. Who thought that
The
was a
drunk
good
uncle.
idea?
He
Yeah,
must have been
that's it.
punchy.
The drunk uncle. Let's give him the checkbook.
All right,
Yeah.
but Bryce,
They missed a huge opportunity on that movie. They could have. What's the app where they do the is it Luminosity or something where they do the
Oh yeah.
now
The
what?
see they
brain
could have
games
had
and
Rocky.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, brain games. They could have had Rocky have a cell phone. He downloaded that, and then he became smart again. And then somehow they could have, used that to advertise the amp and do some cross marketing in the movie. But they missed the
Okay,
boat on that deal.
I have not smoked what you're smoking. What are you even talking about? Luminosity? Like I'm pulling up my cell phone right now, man. What
Am I saying that right, Bryce?
what am
What
I
is that?
doing?
Yeah,
Where they
yeah.
What
talk
am I
about
downloading?
the brain
Luminosity.
connection? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
You're
on
on point with that
Facebook.
one. They missed the boat. Great marketing.
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at is the Rocky 5, the ending street fight is one of the best street fights in movie history. Like he's like, fuck boxing. I'm just gonna fucking do MMA and wrestling and break every single goddamn rule to beat Tommy Gunn. And he does.
I,
He's punching him in the back of the head, in the spine. He's using like crazy ass wrestling takedowns.
Oh
It's
yeah, don't
awesome.
forget
yeah, I
that
think he
foot
did a
sweep he
lateral
did.
drop. Yeah.
That spinning
Yeah,
back
that
foot sweep thing.
unrealistic, that
That,
unrealistic.
that was like something out of Karate Kid. That was pretty sweet.
Everybody swept in the '90s, man. That's just.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bryce.
Uh,
What do you think about Creed, and what's your favorite Rocky movie? That'll be the last question. Sorry for all the time.
oh, no worries. Creed is still on the to watch list, but I'm a huge Rocky fan. Before all my fights, like I'm either gonna watch a Rocky movie or I will watch a Karate Kid movie. Not even the like Karate Kid 4 through 5 doesn't count, but I'll
Yeah.
watch either 1, 2, or 3, and then out of the Rocky movies, for me personally, I cut off after Ivan Drago. I mean, Rocky Balboa wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong,
Oh,
but
it
like
was
for
awesome.
my classic Rocky movies, I'm definitely, I'd have to say probably Rocky 1, because it's before he gets all like super glamorous and everything like
And
that.
he
You
loses, and he
know,
knows it.
yeah, it's great in that one, just because when did the good guys ever lose? And then
Hmm.
the second one, you just see him getting real gritty, still gritty. I guess he never stopped being gritty, and I love the training scenes in that one. I'd say probably, yeah, I'd have to say maybe Rocky 1 and 2 are tied for me. I don't know which one would be better. And then it's like Rocky 3, Rocky 4, then Balboa. Then I'm assuming Creed would be next, and then I just don't like to think about Tommy Gunn.
Yeah, but that ending street fight, just pull it up on YouTube. Just the Rocky Five, like last final fight scene, whatever. Like this son of a bitch, Rocky, man. Like it's literally not even a boxing ending. He just breaks every single rule to just beat the hell out of this Tommy Gun guy. And he uses some MMA actually. It's impressive on a rewatch. But of course, the rest of the movie is trash, garbage. But you mentioned the Karate Kid, dude. I'm also a huge fan. People don't understand like what they were trying to convey and like what the lessons were from Miyagi. Like the first time he teaches Daniel's son, like like to why he's making him paint the fence and sweep and
Yeah.
and then he
And it
tests
all
him.
clicks, and he's like, "Oh shit, you taught me karate through fucking slave labor. Oh my god."
Yes. And then like every single movie, 1 through 3, is the same. It's just this little twerp who gets trolled to the point where he has to
hmm
fight these fuckers and kick their asses. Kind of ridiculous because of the villain. I forget his name. It's Silva,
Clever
his
Lane.
character name. Yeah, it's Clubber Lane,
Clever Lane.
except he's like
hmm
just this white guy with a ponytail and a black belt running his dojo. And
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Karate
I
Kid,
forgot it.
yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I
yeah,
can't remember. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, in the his character name, his last name is Silva, which is kind of funny.
hmm
Like us being in the MMA like fandom. Well, you're actually a player, a fighter, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same. He gets trolled and then he has to whoop their asses. And like every time, like what I find interesting is that throughout 1 through 3, Miyagi never, ever takes a single strike.
Oh yeah, 'cause he's a fucking ninja.
Yeah,
Miyagi ain't taking damage.
yeah. He like no one ever makes contact on Miyagi unless he's blocking your shit. It's
What
crazy.
kind of movie would it be if Miyagi just got knocked out,
If
right?
he just got punched in
Where,
the
where would
face.
you go
It'd
with
be
it
called
after
real
that?
life. That's what it's called, real life.
Daniel
Oh,
Son's
little
not
Japanese guy, fuck you.
Daniel Son's not painting the fence, he's digging a hole. Like that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Alright. That's a good one to go out on, I think. Um at Bryce Harley on YouTube, on Twitter. When the YouTube clip drops, I will drop it. many people will drop it. The world will know this happened a few hours ago, so I apologize. Um, Actually, when I edit this together, I'll try to throw it in there on YouTube.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, hopefully, the organization won't have a problem with it, the promotion. I don't imagine they're as block happy as the UFC is. So I'll
Yeah,
try to
no,
fit
that'll
it
be
in. If
cool.
not, I'll figure out a way. Like, don't be surprised if you see like the replay flipped from left to right. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so it's
Like,
not an exact
Oh,
copy.
gotcha. Oh,
right.
that's how they do it.
Right. So if you're all of a sudden orthodox, that's why. But nah, man, it was so nice of you to give me your time. Hopefully Coach Jamie Huey can hang on the line. But that was it. MMA fighter Bryce Harley coming off of a win last night, beating Kevin Burke in 26 seconds at King of the Cage, Future Legends 32. Again, it took place April 30th, 2016. And you can tell that to your mama. Thank you so much, Bryce, man. We'll stay in touch for sure. I can't thank you enough. And
Thank you for
congratulations.
having me.
All right,
Thank
man.
you again. I look forward to being on the podcast again.
Definitely. I'll tweet you in a few.
Mhm.
Bye.